So some of you may be wondering, hey Vanessa, where the fuck is your Dead Space run? And I have bad news for everybody, because I hate having to deliver bad news, but I have the bad news nonetheless. I had to, unfortunately, 86 my Dead Space run. And I had to 86 it. On the account of I was one of the lucky winners of a game-breaking bug that prohibited me from actually doing the thing I'm supposed to do, which is shoot the pointy hands, or the necromorphs, but I called them pointy hands for the entire playthrough, and I did this a lot. So, as a result, I made it to Chapter 6. And I entered a room. It was where you got all the vegetation, you got tomatoes, and we all made fun of the dude who swapped from holding, like, a jar of tomatoes like this to all of a sudden holding a fucking pumpkin. And it was maybe 10 or 12 enemies spawned, and I wound up having to heal on multiple occasions, because literally I would point my gun, and I would shoot, and nothing happened. I tried the melee trick, that didn't fix it. I tried the restart trick, that didn't fix it. I tried lowering my refresh rate, that didn't fix it. I've done everything you can possibly think of that you can find on the interwebs somewhere to fix it, only to go back into that room and then lose health because my gun has decided that it's going to stop working. So I didn't quit it on account of like being scared or anything, and it makes me disappointed because I was actually enjoying the game a lot. But I literally, it was bad to the point where I just couldn't keep playing it. It's unfortunate because I enjoyed the game for how much I did play. It's been a long time since a shooter has actually held my interest extensively. I was hoping for something like that with Borderlands 3, and dear God, is the story in that absolutely abysmal. It's still fun. If you got friends that you can play with, it still gives you, it scratches that Borderlands 2 itch of hanging out with your friendos and shooting tons of stuff. But if you go to Borderlands 3 for the story, you're going to be very disappointed. So it was nice to go back into a shooter where I was actually very invested in the story. And it had to end abruptly because the game decided that I wasn't allowed to shoot my gun, which I kind of need to do. Generally speaking, it was a good time. I had a lot of fun, a lot of energy. Went ahead and looked up the story and stuff. I'm glad to see I called it correctly. Most everyone did die. That chick, the redhead, she's a bitch. Yeah, that's why there's not any more Dead Space videos. If they ever release a remaster, I am not closed off to the idea of possibly picking it back up and trying it again, even though I know the ending and everything. But, yeah, I couldn't shoot my gun. Literally couldn't shoot my gun. And it also kind of felt like with every load in, the gun problem became worse. It became worse. So yeah, that's why you haven't seen some VODs from me in a while. The other thing about it is I thought about uploading what I did have. I thought about uploading, the bits and pieces, but even then the streams from them, they're just gonna go forever in the garbage, because one of the streams, it literally consists of me like trying to troubleshoot for maybe an hour, and then another one, it was when I decided to stop, and then we switched to Darkest Dungeon, and then we switched to Monster Hunter, and then OBS shit the bed, so I would have had to splice the video. Both of the streams pretty much are just a wash, and it sucks, but the show must go on. So, yeah. If you have recommendations for shooting games you'd like me to see, now that everyone knows that I actually do play shooter games, drop them in the Discord, drop them in the comments, do what you gotta do. But yeah, just an explanation of why the Dead Space playlist A took forever, and then B is sadly coming to a close. Sorry, I promise I wanted to do it, it's just I couldn't shoot.